Fusion of miracles, mysteries, moralities, and interludes to the development of English drama. The religious drama, which developed during the medieval period, seems to owe or nothing to the classical drama of Rome or Greece. The other Roman dramatic tradition, the mime, fell under the ban of the church, because in the mimes coarse humor and indecency combined to secure at a time the attention of the vulgar. At this time, the church was deadly against the theatre. The church objected to its associations with paganism, to the fact that in its lower forms it often ridiculed Christianity. It is ironical that the church, the force that had done most to drive Roman drama out of existence, should have been the institution in which modern drama was to take its birth. For the drama of the Middle Ages is not a continuation of Roman drama, but a development from entirely new beginnings in the services of the church. The Easter festivals or the Christian celebrations of the church suggested first the pious adaptation of this ancient art of acting to present impressingly the facts of the new religion. The miracle and the mystery plays first appeared in England soon after the Norman conquest, and in their amplified forms, these sacred dramas were known as the miracle plays or mysteries. These plays represented the lives of the saints and scenes from the life of Christ or stories from the Old Testament associated with the coming of the Messiah. The earliest miracle in England was the Ludus de Sancta Catharian, which was performed about the year 1110. The miracles increased steadily in number and in popularity. By the year 1300, the miracles were out of hands and adopted eagerly by the trade guilds under the general control of the council of the town. Not the churchmen but the wealthy guilds became responsible for the dramatic productions. The various guilds were assigned particular scenes. For example, at Chester was performed Noah's deluge. The scenes were presented on large movable platforms called pageants drawn by horses from station to the town. By the beginning of the 14th century, all these plays were in various localities united in a single cycle of plays, beginning with the creation and ending with the final judgment. Every important town in England had its own cycle of plays for its own guilds to perform. But except 4 cycles, all have been lost. The 4 great cycles known by the names of their place of performance are the York, Wakefield, Coventry and Chester. The cycle forms one of the most interesting that have survived. It consists of 48 plays that were performed by the trade guilds from the 14th to the 16th century. Although only 48 have been preserved, the records of the city of York show that in 1415, 51 plays were acted. The number of plays varied according to the guilds taking part. The York plays are written in the Northumbrian dialect, and an endeavour is made by varying the metre and diction to give suitable expression to the characters in the plays. They have dramatic life and are on the whole reverent in tone. Even the bad characters receive sympathetic treatment. Herod stands up for one oppressed, and Pilate rigidly observes justice. The first play in the series deal with the creation of the world and the fall of Lucifer. These plays set forth the fall of man and their expulsion from paradise. A number of plays deal with different incidents in the life of Christ, the Passion and Crucifixion. The 37th play is The Harrowing of Hell, a play that always delighted the people from its realistic presentation. Other plays follow, dealing with the resurrection, ascension, and finally the day of judgment. A full list of the plays performed in 1415 and the parts taken by each guild was drawn up by Roger Burton, the town clerk of York, and still exist. Whilst each play was in the hands of the trade guild, the city authorities exercised careful supervision and control. The next miracle play is the Wakefield Cycle, which consists of 32 plays commencing with the creation, which was acted by the barbers of the town. The second play deals with Cain and Abel. In the character of Garcio, Cain's servant, appears the first clown that later developed into the fool of Shakespeare's plays. The Wakefield Cycle is also known as the Towneley plays because the manuscript was once owned by the Towneley family. These deal with the usual themes. The literary merit of the Wakefield plays is higher than that of any of the other cycles which have survived. The stanzas are handled with some assurance. There is an occasional note of real poetry. And in 5 of the plays there is a lively ironic humor and realistic characterization that show a sense of comedy and of satire to a degree unparalleled in any other existing miracle plays. Among these plays are a Noah and 2 shepherds' plays. The story of Noah is treated as broad realistic comedy, with Noah's wife portrayed as a talkative shrew who refuses to enter the ark. In the shepherd's plays, there is much talk of the oppression of rustic labourers by rich landlords and sharp realistic painting of the lives of the poor. The second shepherd's play is prefaced by a comic interlude that has been described as the first farce in the English language. The shepherds are out in the fields on Christmas Eve. They begin to grumble at the weather, their heavy taxes, of the trials of matrimony, of their hard work and low wages. They lie down to sleep. A notorious thief, Mac, with them. Mac steals a sheep and brings it home to his wife, who puts it in a cradle so that it will appear to be a newborn baby. When the shepherds come in looking for the stolen sheep, they find nothing but 2 empty platters and a baby in its cradle. They leave, but one of them returns to give the baby a 6pence. He bends over the baby to kiss him, and what the devil is this? He has a long snout. Mark's fraud is discovered, and the 3 shepherds toss him in a sheet and then leave. They lie down to sleep again. An angel appears singing Gloria in Excelsis and exhorts them to rise and go to Bethlehem. The usual miracle play follows. The shepherds go to Bethlehem with their gifts and worship. The cycle contains 25 plays beginning with the fall of Lucifer and ending with Doomsday. It includes plays dealing with the creation, the fall, Noah, Cain and Abel, Abraham and Isaac, Balaam and Balak, a group on the life of Christ beginning with the Annunciation and ending with the Ascension, and including a nativity, a play, a slaughter of the innocents, a raising of Lazarus, a play dealing with a number of events from the entry into Jerusalem to the conspiracy of Judas, a Last Supper and betrayal, a Passion play, a Harrowing of Hell, and a Resurrection play. The plays are written in an 8-line stanza with a rhyme. The Chester plays show a more serious and didactic purpose than the other cycles. The development of the dialogue and action is naive enough with the story presented in simple outline. The Coventry plays, a complete cycle of plays preserved which are said to have been acted at Coventry on the festival of Corpus Christi. This, however, rests on uncertain evidence, and if the plays belong to Coventry, it is thought probable they were acted by the Grey Friars of the town and were not connected with the trade guilds. It consists of 42 plays, which were, however, not all acted in 1 year, the custom being to perform the first 28 in 1 year and the remainder in the next year. Apart from these plays, Coventry was famous for its religious dramas. The trading companies acted miracle plays from a very early date unto 1580, when the performances were suppressed for a time. They were revived in 1584 for a brief period, but the days of the miracle play were over. And in the year 1591 took place the last performance in the Coventry. The miracle play ceased to be acted about 1600, but by that time the regular drama was established. The miracle plays had performed their work. They had spread through the land a love of acting and stimulated men's minds to the comprehension of the essentials of the drama. The common people had already a national tradition so strong that when attempts to conform the English drama to the classical models were made, the native genius asserts itself even in these, until in Shakespeare it reaches the supreme height of the romantic school.